than Virgil van Dijk wanted to say. Let's remind you of what the Match Centre put out on social media as the explanation. The referee's call of offside and no goal to Liverpool was checked and confirmed by VAR, with Robertson in an offside position and deemed to be making an obvious action directly in front of the goalkeeper. Do you go along with that, Michael?
No. Directly in front of the goalkeeper, no, I don't. He's obviously making an action to get out of the way. He's not making an action towards the ball, which then would be deemed as an offside infringement. He's not in the line of sight, and you take Andy Robertson off the pitch there, it goes in regardless. He's not, as Arne said, he's not in any way, shape or form affecting the goalkeeper and his decision to dive for that ball. It was a fantastic head. It's going right in the corner. You know, you can see there, Donnarumma gets a good, clear sight of it and dives straight away. You know, Andy Robertson doesn't interfere whatsoever with that. He can get nowhere near it. It's a poor decision, I feel. And as I say, he's getting out of the way of it. Now, if he's ducking and then tries to flick it on and misses it, then that's different. That's then making an action towards the ball, and then that, you know, qualifies as the rule that, you know, makes it an offside decision. But that is quite the opposite, and I thought it was a poor decision. It would have been 1-1. It would have changed the game, no question about it. However, I think Arne Slot, certainly myself, I wouldn't hide behind that excuse. It could have changed the outcome of the game, but Manchester City were the best team.
I agree with Michael there. I think the wording used to describe what's happened is not accurate in the description of what I've seen. He's moving out of the way, the flight of the ball, and even if Donnarumma is blindsided where Andy Robertson's position is, he's offside, so we shouldn't consider that, because if he does touch the ball, it's then clear. It's then an offside decision to be made. But yeah, I think if he's not involved in any way, the ball still goes into the net and Donnarumma doesn't get there.
Yeah, and for those people that think if you're just standing in an offside position, well, it should be offside anyway, of course, there was a goal in this exact same fixture last season, which was given. And Szoboszlai scored. So I just, you know, I know it's not exactly the same, you know, scenario. It's not, you know, Curtis Jones isn't ducking out the way, but he is in an offside position. He's not blocking the line of sight, but this one has been given. And I don't, as much as it's not an identical situation, the principles are the same. You know, he's not blocking the sight of the goal. He's got no impact whatsoever, even though he's in an offside position, even though he stood in front of the goal, yet that one's been given. So I do think there are similarities. And as I say, I just think it was a really poor decision.
I totally agree, yeah. I think that they'll look at it and I think they'll probably have a regret on making that decision. I have to say, I think it was wrong. Pretty much everyone says it's wrong. And even, you know, I don't think it changed the game. I think City had all the answers today anyway. So we can talk about it and discuss it for what it is. I just think it's pretty clear. You know, that was one instance, really, that gave Liverpool a bit of hope in the game. Other than that, I thought City were the better team by far.
Let's nip to the Etihad, talk to the former Liverpool striker, Robbie Fowler. Rob, did you think at the time in the ground that there was nothing wrong with that goal?
No, I think it was a clear goal. I mean, I understand, and I looked at it, that obviously Andy Robbo was in an offside position, but for me, he's not in the line of even the keeper's sight. The keeper can still see the ball. In fact, he dives to his left and still doesn't get to it. So I just thought it was a poor decision. Obviously, the wording came on the screen. I was a little bit flummoxed, actually, because I just didn't understand how they could have come to that conclusion. I mean, there's an argument to say that even if, you know, Andy Robbo had stood up, you know, it would have hit him. You know, I think he ducks just for the sake of it, but I mean, it's a poor decision, and I mean, I've said before, I think Liverpool will be due and will get an apology from the PGMOL, because, yeah, that's not good enough. I mean, that's poor. And I mean, obviously, I know Michael's talking there about, Michael Carrick's talking about Liverpool were not great at Manchester City, and they were good value for that. But, I mean, that moment could have swayed the game. You know, it could have, I mean, Liverpool momentum going into, you know, into the half. It might have, you know, upped their game a little bit, and it could have been a real pivotal moment in the game.
But it didn't, and they've just lost 4 Premier League away games for the first time in 13 and a half years. Bigger picture, why are they searching for this consistency, do you think?
Yeah, I just think it's obviously square pegs, round holes with some of the players, trying to shoehorn players into positions that they're not really comfortable. You look at obviously Florian Wirtz coming in as this wonderful player, this wonderful technician who's struggling to adapt to life in the Premier League. Whether that's obviously the energy, whether that's the physicality, or whether it's just that there's no absolute space for him to thrive. They've got him playing on the left when really that's not his best position. He's coming in. And obviously there's obviously spaces on the side then, so Liverpool are they haven't got the formation and the tactics to suit the players that they've currently got. I think even the midfield three, and as much as all the plaudits were great and they were so good at midweek against Madrid, I don't think they were great today, and I just felt they were overrun in midfield by City. City did look the best team, City were the best team, and they were good value for the win, but it could have been so much different, but Liverpool just didn't show up today. I've just thought they were very, very predictable.
No, when we look at these numbers, we know how difficult it is to defend the Premier League trophy and win it again, which is why we've seen so many teams in the past. But there we go, the fewest points in the first 11 games, Liverpool 18. There's only 3 teams in history have had fewer. So to try and find that formula, his best 11, fit those new players into a team that aren't winning all the time, it's a big challenge for Arne Slot at the moment.
It is, and it's going to get worse because obviously Isak's on the bench and he's probably going to want minutes as well. So you've obviously got Frimpong will come back from injury. He's another player that will, want to play. He signed as a fullback to replace Trent when really he wasn't a fullback; he was a wing back. So that's a problem straight away. You've got Kerkez, who again struggling, not adapting to the Premier League, but I think he's struggling to adapt to life as a Liverpool player. Obviously, Ekitike has probably been the standout player, of all the players coming in. Florian Wirtz can't, I know he does look out of sorts at the minute. I think he will adapt and get used to it. But out of the 450 million that has been spent on players, I mean, you could only argue saying that Ekitike is really the only one who's brought value.
Rob, good to talk to you. Thank you very much indeed.
Cheers,
for your efforts today. Would you go along with that? I mean, only Ekitike at the moment on paper looks an initial success.
I think that's fair. Yeah, I think he's been really good. Obviously, more than 125 million anyway on Isak. He's been injured. He's had no real pre-season. You can make excuses for one or two of them, but I think it's fair to say of all the players so far, then I think Ekitike has been the standout, even though he hardly had a kick today.
And he's gone 5 games without a goal now.
Absolutely. So yeah. I mean, Arne Slot has gone back to the tried and trusted in recent times. I thought he would stick with the tried and trusted even more so today. I was surprised that Gakpo didn't play. I said that before the game. It's not hindsight. I was surprised he didn't play and Wirtz did. And especially on the back of 2 really good performances. I mean, that's as good as I've seen Liverpool play against Real Madrid only a few days ago, and then to put in that performance, it's the inconsistency that's the worry at the minute. They do know there's good performances in there. They have played well at times this season, but not enough and not consistently enough.
It doesn't really matter, I think, what I would say, because if anything I would say would be in the next couple of days in the media, and then the whole international break will be about me saying and commenting on a decision that the referee made. I just rather focus on the fact that it doesn't really matter, I think, what I would say, because if anything I would say would be in the next couple of days in the media, and then the whole international break will be about me saying and commenting on a decision that.
So, but as I said, that could have influenced the game in a positive way for us, because in the first half we were so poor. But yeah, a set piece can make a difference, and now we conceded the 2-0 from a set piece, and then that was maybe a fair reflection of the first half, by the way, us being 2-0 down, but that's maybe not where it's about.
Roy Keane weighed in on Liverpool's title chances after their recent setback, questioning whether Arne Slot's side still has the mentality to keep pace with Arsenal and Manchester City. The former Manchester United captain admitted Liverpool remain a top side, but insisted they don't look ruthless enough compared to their rivals. Keane pointed out that dropped points in key moments could cost them dearly, especially with Arsenal's consistency and City's relentless form. He urged Liverpool to rediscover their killer instinct if they want to stay in the fight. Keane also praised Arne Slot for steadying the team since taking charge, but warned that tactical discipline alone won't be enough to win the title. With Pep Guardiola's City machine clicking into gear and Arsenal showing no signs of slowing down, Liverpool's margin for error has vanished. According to Keane, the coming weeks will reveal whether Liverpool are true contenders, or simply pretenders in one of the tightest title races in years.